Hello and welcome to the Stage of Greatness. I am Danielle Francine, and wow. So the past few weeks have been a whirlwind is I guess the best term to describe what has transpired. So I want to share all of that with all of you and my insights and my realizations and just about life, because it's, the work that I do and the work that I've done. Yes, it has given me so many tools, and I've grown spiritually, mentally, physically, um really in all of the ways, but that it doesn't mean that hard shit doesn't happen. It just puts me in a better position with the awareness that I have, with the tools that I have to navigate through the shit, really. And to keep really a positive mindset, a higher frequency, a higher vibration. So the past several weeks have included uh moving, thinking that we were going to be moving into, all right, so let me just start from weeks and weeks ago to give you the full picture. So when we came back from Peru, I had discussed with my partner, moving in together, and he had suggested, hey, why don't you just move into my place, and that will give us time freedom. We don't have a timeline. We can really look for exactly what it is that we want. If we want to save more money, we can do that. Whatever it is that we want to do, we can do. My response to that was, hell yeah, that sounds great. So that was the plan. Now he was living in his mother's boyfriend's house. Okay. So there's that. So, with that being the plan, I had stopped looking for homes, of course. So I was set to go to up to New Jersey to see my family. August 10th, I was leaving, and it was about 2 days before that his mother told his boyfriend that he had to go. You have till the end of August to get out. So he had said to my partner John, he's like, "Yeah, so I'm going to come back and live in my house. I'm not really sure how Danielle feels about me being there." John was like, "That's not an option. Totally not happening." So now I'm supposed to leave for New Jersey in 2 days for almost a week. And then a week and a half after that, we were supposed to move. So he tells me this, and I'm like, shit, I can't go to New Jersey. What the fuck is happening? So now my mindset up until this point was, so many things had transpired that I was like, okay, this is perfect. Like, this is the easiest route. I'm moving into this house. We don't have a timeline. The rent was so cheap. It was like, this is what's supposed to happen. So when I heard this news, I was like, okay, so now what's going to happen? And so, something that I've learned over the years, and it is true no matter how shitty the situation is, it's like, okay, this is happening for a reason. If something was supposed to happen for me and it didn't, there's always something better, right? So, when I'm manifesting something, I choose what my desire is, I call that in, and I call that in or something better. So I'm like, okay, Danielle, something better, something better, something better is going to come. So turns out one of his good friends, his girl, had a property that she was Airbnb-ing, and she wanted to turn it into a rental. John had actually redone the bathroom here in this home for her. So his friend says to him, take Danielle, look at the house. If she likes it, it's yours. So the night before I leave for New Jersey, we come and we look at this house. Beautiful house. 3-2 car garage, huge yard in the back, a fire pit, huge front yard, nice chunk of property, beautiful neighborhood, quiet families, nice homes, great location. So I'm like, okay, And I had trouble wrapping my head around this because when I was looking for homes, I wanted water. I want to be on the water. Right. So I'm like, but there's no water, but there's no water. There's only one vanity in the master bath. We wanted double vanity because in my apartment, we had double vanity in the bathroom. We brush our teeth together, right? All kinds of activities in the bathroom. My bathroom is huge. It was the size of a bedroom. Same thing with my closet. So I'm up in New Jersey, and so I'm wrapping my head around this and, talking to my parents about it. And I'm coming to the realization, like, Danielle, this is basically being placed in front of you at the perfect time. It's so much better than what you were going to move into. Allow this. You need to allow this. Like, okay, I'm allowing this. I'm allowing this. Now, another thing that happened when I was up in New Jersey. So, my mom has a connection with this woman that lives out in Arizona. Her name is Sahara White Wolf. She is phenomenal. Um, when you think of the term shamanic, this is her. Her gifts are vast. She has so many gifts. So my mom had done a couple of Akashic readings with her. She told me about them. I listened in on one of Sahara's classes. I was like, man, this woman's energy, like, I just want to be in her energy. So I'm feeling the pull and I'm feeling the nudge. So I schedule a reading with her that was supposed to be prior to me going to New Jersey. So she reaches out, she reschedules me for when I'm going to be up in Jersey with my mom. I'm like, okay, perfect. So we get on the phone and she starts out this reading and she's like, Danielle, so normally it takes a little bit of time, like a couple minutes for me to receive any pictures or anything. She's like, and I have yours right away. She's like, I see you as this beautiful angel with these gorgeous wings. And she's describing this picture of what she sees. And then she says, but you have these chains around your leg and you're trying to get them off and you're lifting your leg and you're trying to pull them. And no matter what you do, you can't get them off. And what they're saying is they're self-imposed. You put them there. They're your limiting beliefs. They're your stories and what you allow others to put on you. I was like, oh my God, that's so fucking spot on. So she says to me, she asked if that resonated. I'm like, absolutely. She's like, okay, so I'd like to do a soul clearing. And so, wait, hold on. Yep, we're going to do this my way. So just repeat after me. She's like, you don't need to think about these things. It's the energy. It is basically what we're going to go through is releasing all of the energies from past lives, ways that you died, ways that you were murdered. I'm like, okay. So I kind of had an idea from, what my mom had shared with me about her reading. So as she's taking me through this, and it lasted probably for about 10 minutes, all of the ways that I was murdered in past lives were insane. Like some of the things that she had said and some of the things she repeated twice. She's like, sometimes we got to say it twice. If they tell me twice, we go through it twice. That just means that energy is not cleared. So just bear with me. And a few times, she thought she would be done. And she's like, okay, there's more. Okay, okay, here we go. Demonic torture, being experimented on and not remembering, beheaded, stoned, water torture, like just these things. I'm like, holy shit. And so at the end, she said to me, this is so beautiful. I have never seen anything like this. I feel like I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry. I said, well, what? She's like, I've never seen this before, that in all of your lives, no matter what they did to you, they couldn't break you. You never submitted, you never gave in, you never revoked your light. And I was like, wow, okay. And so all of these ways that I was murdered were all due to me and my light, me sharing it, me giving it, me being of the light. So, she had said several times, fear of being seen, fear of judgment, fear of being persecuted. So all of these things, as she's saying it, there's so many things that I have wanted to share, so many things that I have wanted to talk about, and I would be ready to go and pull the trigger, whether it's Facebook Live or on here. And I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm feeling it. And then I sit down and do it. And I'm like, nope, not doing it. Oh my God, so many times. So she had said to me, it was funny. I laughed. She's like, we got to make like a cosmic joke about this. So when, you feel afraid, well, yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm afraid because I was murdered like 79 times for doing this. And I know it's not going to happen in this life. And then you go and you do it. So she had asked me if I was a healer. And so this term, not that I have an issue with the term at all whatsoever. I truly believe in healing in various different ways. But so when she asked me this, I said, well, yeah. She said, hands-on healing. I said, well, I actually just started doing that with my dog. I had done it with somebody else one time before when I was on the medicine and a journey, and it was mind-blowing. But so, she's like, so I see you doing this. Like this is your main form of healing. She's like, and Danielle, the gifts that you have, you can do anything. Anything I can do, you can do. You have all of those gifts. You just need to allow them. You need to step into them. You need to do it. Do it. And she said that to me, and I was like, holy shit. And hearing that, while it's so exciting and exhilarating, it is like this almost like a responsibility in a couple different ways, a responsibility that I need to step into it to serve others, and that I need to do it for myself because this is what I am meant to do. This is part of what I am here for. And then, another thing that she had said too, she's like, if you want to make this your last life, you need to go out in all your glory. You need to do all of this. And when she said that, it was like my heart skipped a beat. And, for those of you that also believe in this, I'm sure a lot of you do, as we come to these different lives and these different bodies with these different missions, and these lessons for us to learn, the lessons that we choose for ourselves to learn, it's like, man, okay, so I've lived this many lifetimes that this could be my last one if I so choose it to be. If I learn all of my lessons, if I do all of the things that I've come here to do I want to do that? Do I want to make it my last life? And then what's after that? Right? And what does my soul go on to be? Am I an angel? Am I going to be an ascended master at some point? Am I, right? Like, what is that next thing? Which is cool to think about. And at the same time, it's kind of trippy. So, and yeah, I want to do all of the things in this life, and I'm going to. So, one of the reasons that I created this podcast, The Stage of Greatness, it was not only to bring on other people and, extract their stories from them and pull the nuggets to deliver to all of you so that you can live your best life. But I created it as a stage for myself as well, or a platform for myself as well, to share things like this, to share things other than just fitness and nutrition, right? Because that's been my identity for a couple decades now. Fitness, nutrition. She's got the goddess body. She's built, she's got abs, she eats well, she eats all the foods, right? That's how I'm known. And so my pulling back of sharing that on, other platforms was, oh, well, I don't want to confuse people, and I don't want people to think that I don't do fitness and nutrition, and that I'm pivoting and I'm, trying to be a spiritual guru, which by any means, I'm not a spiritual guru. Am I very in touch with spirit and connected? Yeah, absolutely, for sure. But I don't claim to be higher than anyone else, better than anybody else. No, never, not at all. So, with all of that being said, that call was like whoa, holy shit. I listened to it a couple times, and I really sat in that energy, and I'm still in that energy. And so, my next step in what I'm creating is going to be like a Patreon program, which we will have meditations. So this will be weekly meditations, breath work, activations, readings, channelings, like all of the cool shit that I do with myself and some private clients on a larger scale with numerous women. So this is for women. This will be for women. And it's going to be fucking powerful. It's going to be divine, all with the divine feminine flow, the goddess flow. And I thinking about it lights my fire, right? Supporting other women in this journey, in their transformation, in their spiritual growth, all of the things. So keep your ears open for that. That's coming soon in September. I'm working on putting that together now. Receiving the messages and the downloads when I sit in the morning, when I tap in. And so far it's been amazing, and it's all coming together. So I'm really excited about that. So moving on. So I come back from New Jersey. Now, before I left for New Jersey, so my baby, Jackson, one of my dogs, Jackson is 11, and I believe in one of my recent shows, I did one about him and what has been going on with him. So he's had several seizures. We had an MRI done, and he had a growth. He has a tumor in his head, and it's on the outside of his brain. There's a small part growing into his brain now, which has caused the seizures. We put him on medication. So this was the last thing that I wanted to do with him, was start him on medication. So we put him on an anti-seizure medication and prednisone. So for those of you that have animals that have been on prednisone, or you yourself have been on prednisone, it is a fucking nasty drug. Nasty. So, I have him at the holistic vet the day before I'm going to New Jersey, and I'm kind of freaking out because I'm like, yeah, I'm supposed to go to New Jersey. She's like, Danielle, go to New Jersey. These medications are so strong. They're such strong anti-inflammatories that there's no way that he is going to have any type of episode while you're gone. It's not going to happen. Don't worry about it. Go. So I said, okay. So I go. I come back Now, no one had said anything about any type of challenges or issues that Jackson was having. So I come home and I walk into my apartment and there is three like poop stains on the rug. There's pee, puddles of pee, two different puddles. And I'm like, oh my God. And our friend that was helping us out with them, he was there just an hour before. I'm like, what the hell, man? So I clean everything up. I go to the supermarket. I get some food. I'm gone for maybe an hour and I come back and there's more. So what was happening was the prednisone, he couldn't control himself. It makes him super thirsty, super hungry. So he's drinking a ton of water. He was peeing all over the place. He was pooping all over the place. And it was diarrhea, like liquid, like chocolate milk soaking into the rug, like horrible, horrendous. I wanted to scream. Not at him. I wasn't mad at him. I was just fucking pissed. So I take them for a walk and his back legs were so weak and his balance was hardly there. His energy was totally, he was like a different dog. I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? So I talked to the vet and they're like, no, okay, let's go over the medication. So we go over the medication. He's like, look, Danielle, honestly, it's a side effect. There's side effects of the two medications in combination. He will adjust to it. It's okay. Just keep your eye on him. Once he's off the prednisone, that should all stop. Going to the bathroom in the house. I said, okay, great. So we end up taking the house, right? We're like, yes, we sign the lease. Um, John had brought the dogs here. We had brought the dogs here a couple times so they could be in the yard, they could be in the house before we moved in. I wanted to eliminate as much stress as possible for Jackson and for Elsie, of course, but especially for Jackson with what he's going through. So we get to move on Thursday. So this was another thing, right? So John was like, hey, you don't have a lot of furniture to move. I can move it. It's not a big deal. You just need to let me know. Now, having moved, this will be my fourth time in 4 years since living in Florida. Oh my God. When we moved from New Jersey and came down to Fort Lauderdale, we did not use a moving company. When we moved from Fort Lauderdale to West Palm, I was like, I am moving a moving company. I don't give a shit. I'm not doing all of this again. It's so stressful and it takes so long to recover from. So I had the movers pack half of my shit. They moved everything. It was great. Same thing when I moved to Boynton. I was like, come here, pack my shit. Just do it for me. Hands off. So much less stress. So he's telling me this, and I'm like, oh my God, am I going to not use movers? So I say, okay, you can move the things. And then, so 2 days later, I'm sitting in the morning, my morning practice, and I'm like, I movers, I'm feeling movers, and I don't want to spend a ton of money. I want to spend maybe like $500. Is that even a thing? Well, if it's a thing, that's what I want. So I go to the gym that morning and I come home and my neighbors next door were moving in. So they're moving in with a moving company. So I go and I introduce myself to the girls, super nice girls. And I said, can I ask you a question about your movers? She's like, yeah, sure. So, I was like, so what does it include? And do you mind if I ask you the cost? She's like, oh yeah, it was like $500 for the first 3 hours. I'm like, what? So this guy's walking out. He's like, you moving? I have a box in my hands. I'm like, yep. He's like, oh, well, I could save you some money. I do it on the side too. Oh, perfect. So I end up speaking with him later that day. And he gives me like this super low price, even lower than that. And I'm like, fucking amazing. Thank you, God. Thank you, universe. Thank you, spirit. Excellent. So we were going to move on a Saturday. So he reaches out to me. I think it was the next day. So maybe it was like a Tuesday. He's like, hey, you want to do Thursday? I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to do Thursday. Get me out of here. So Thursday, it's set for 2. Okay. So set for 2. I go, I get all my stuff. I'm all ready. I come home from the gym. I pack my closet, right? I went and I bought garment boxes to make life easier. So they're supposed to be there at 2. And then it's pushed back to 4. And then at 3:30, he calls me and he's like, hey, we're leaving Miami. I'm like, oh my God. John says, well, they're probably going to be here more around 6. I'm like, I'm like, ugh. I'm thinking about, oh my God, it's going to be so late. We're not going to be done until like midnight. I'm like, Danielle, shh. Let's be present and let's zoom out. So if they were here at 2 and they started packing everything and loading it, look, it was raining from 3 o'clock on and off until about 4:30. That would not have been good. All of your stuff would have gotten wet. Okay. Now, okay, they're not going to be here till 6. Look, no traffic. Everything's clear. It's much cooler out now. You're not going to sweat your ass off. Neither are they. Okay, great. So all of that gets done. And so we pack all the things, or they pack all the things. I go and pick up food. And I come to the house and I'm waiting for them to get here. They unpack super fast. They're gone by like 9 o'clock. We went outside. We sat on the back for a minute. And we got ready for bed. And then we went to sleep. Okay, awesome. So Friday morning, I'm like, okay, I woke up. I had my coffee, sat on the couch. I'm like, so I'm going to unpack all of the things that I can get unpacked today. Ready, set, fucking go. I unpacked all of my shit, got all of it done on Friday, felt amazing. Kitchen was done. All of the big things were accomplished. So now at about like 11 o'clock, I go on the lanai, and so our backyard is huge. So if you're watching this video on the podcast, you could see my sliding glass door right there. And there's a big lanai, and the backyard is humongous. So I had the dogs out there. So I go out, and Elsie loves to sunbathe. Jackson does too, but not for that long. So I go out there and I see him laying in the grass, and I'm like, oh, he's laying in the grass. And I see his tail wag, goes up, goes down. I'm like, okay, awesome. I go to get my phone to take a video, and I hit record, and I said something to him to try and get his tail to wag. He stands up and he falls over. And I'm like, oh shit. Then he stands up again and he falls over again. And he stands up and he's wobbling, and then he's walking in circles. I'm like, no, no. So it looked like he had a seizure. So he comes in the house and his energy said that he had a seizure. So, I'm watching him the rest of the day. And so later on that evening, he had another one. And then Saturday, he had 2. And then Sunday evening, I'm like, okay, it was just the move. It was just the move. It's just the stress. Everything changed. He's okay. He's okay. Now, and I'm in the middle of weaning him off the prednisone. I'm like, it's supposed to be good. It's supposed to be good. He's good. He's good. So Sunday day, he's good. And then Sunday, right before dinner, he had one. And then Sunday night, we go to sleep, and I hear him get up and walk to the back door. So I'm like, okay, you got to go pee pee. I let him out. I come inside, I grab a handful of granola because I like snacks. And I go onto the lanai and I'm looking for him and I don't see him. And I'm like, Jackson. And then I'm quiet and I hear him. I hear his. I'm like, oh, shit. So I run outside and he's in the grass and he's having another one. I'm like, John. John comes out And so he's with me and he says to me, he's like, this is not okay. Like, I know. So Monday morning, I call the vet and that doctor. So this is the doctor that had prescribed him the medication. So basically, she gives me a couple options, put him back on the prednisone, start him on another anti-seizure medicine, or don't do anything. She's like, basically, you know what's coming. And you need to keep in mind his quality of life. And this is not a good quality of life. And if you put him back on the prednisone, it's going to be a higher dose. Is that a quality of life? I'm like, oh my God. Okay. She's like, take your time. There's no wrong decision. Any decision that you make is going to be the right one. I'm like, okay, great. Thank you. So that day, so that was Monday. And so Monday, I'm just besides myself. What the fuck? What? And so, speaking with my mom and speaking with John and speaking with Rich and just all the different perspectives and just not being able to establish my own clarity of what I really felt. Like I wasn't able to feel that day. I was numb, like I was numb to it all. And my mind would go kind of dark and I didn't want to go there. And then there was something saying, but you need to go here. I'm like, no, no. So, navigating through that, I'm like, okay, so we are going to give him his last dose of prednisone, the full dose. And we are going to call the holistic vet, see what she says. And you're not going to make any decisions until you speak with her. So Monday, he was okay. He did not have any episodes. Um, his energy was all funky. He was, lethargic because he had a full dose of the prednisone. Um, but yesterday he was fine. His energy was good. He was happy. He was running around. Today, same thing. We just went to we actually just got back from the holistic vet. And she had asked about everything that had transpired, and I told her, and she's like, okay. And so this is all from the move, all of that stress, everything changed. He had nothing the same. Everything was different. His environment was different. He's walking in a different place. Really, the only things that are still the same are you and John and the food that he's eating. That's it. Everything else is different. That triggered it. That triggered it. The heat triggered it. The heat causes inflammation in the brain. She's like, so Danielle, all of these things, and he is doing great. And look, you gave him that last dose of prednisone, which was spot on. You followed what you thought and you gave it to him and it did the trick. So we're going to give him a treatment. We're going to send you home so he can rest. You do not need to put him back on the prednisone. I don't want him to go on the prednisone, so let's not do that. I have another medicine that I had ordered, DMSO, that is used for inflammation. It's used to treat tumors. It's used to treat parasites. It's used to treat so many different things. So we're going to get him started on that. But fuck, what a crazy fucking few weeks. And then, so in the middle of it all, on I think it was Saturday, my uncle that lives on the west coast of Florida, he reaches out to me and he says, hey, so we're supposed to get this hurricane and I don't want to stay here. I'm like, okay, come on over. So we're in our house for what, like 2-3 days? And I'm like, yeah, come on over and stay. It's family. I'm not going to say no. And I haven't seen him in a while. And yes, like, let me open my doors to you. No matter what this crazy shit is that's going on in my life, with my family, with my home, like, yes, come be here. And it was really one of the best things that could have happened. Jackson had another man in the house with super calm, cool energy. I got to catch up with him. He got to connect with John. It was just a good time, and I'm really glad that all of that happened the way that it did. Um, it's so, with all of that being said, all of these things that have happened over, let's just call it the last month. Years ago, I probably would have, lost my shit and been under so much stress and allowed it to affect me in the way of, eating whatever I wanted to eat to soothe myself or help ease my mind. Um, if I did go to work out, I probably would have been punishing my body for eating all of the things that I ate that I wasn't supposed to eat, right? I'm overeating or I'm eating bad things. So let me run extra, let me work out harder, let me do more. Or would have been the opposite. Like I would have not ate because I was stressed out. So having things in your life that are your pillars, right? That really think of your pillars are what hold you up. Your pillars are your strength. Your pillars are really like what keeps you sane. My pillars are my morning practice, no matter where I am, if I'm home, if I'm traveling, if I'm at a friend's house, if I'm in an airport, like it doesn't matter where I am, I always have a morning practice. It could be a shortened version, right? But I always have something, whether it's meditation, journaling, channeling. I started playing music, singing, playing with cards, tarot cards, oracle cards, using my pendulum, right? All these things I've been doing every single morning throughout all of these events. Um, so that's one. My dogs, walking my dogs, spending time with my dogs in the morning after my morning practice. So, when I was in the apartment, I would walk them for a half hour, 45 minutes every morning out in nature. It's a way of grounding. Now, once we moved here, I wasn't walking them outside. We were out in the yard. I was still spending time with them. And I didn't want to walk Jackson when all of that stuff was going on. But working out is another one, right? I go to the gym. It's a way for me to easily clear my mind, ground myself, gain clarity. It's like turning my mind off from the rest of my life and focusing, getting in the zone of what I'm doing, connecting with my body, breathing, thinking about what I'm doing, connecting with those muscles. And then once I'm done, it's like I'm able to think clearly again. So, you know, and nutrition, right? The food, eating the foods that are good for my body. Because if I want to be connected to my body, if I want to be connected spiritually, if I want to be connected in all the ways, it's really important for me to be clean, for me to be feeding my body the nutrients that it needs so that it can support me in any way that I need to be supported. So, I really want, to hit home with that is that if you don't have pillars or you have pillars, but you don't like your pillars, let's create some new pillars. And it doesn't have to be 79 things. It could be like one or two things. It could even be reading. It could be going for a walk. It could be retail therapy. It could be anything that you want, but that consistency is the key, right? And having those things, it's like they have your back, right? Prayer could be a pillar. Anything you want can be a pillar. So I really want to encourage you, to create those for yourself if you don't have them. And if that's something that you need help with, reach out. If you want to start a morning practice and you don't know how to, reach out. I would love to support you with that. If you're going through some crazy shit, always know that it's going to end and there's going to be sunshine again. There is always a light at the end of the tunnel. Nothing lasts forever. And the harder it is, the better it's going to be when it's over. The higher you're going to feel, right? It's like the lower you go, the higher that peak, that next peak is going to be. So, with that all being said, thank you guys so much for listening and thank you for being a part of my journey. If you are a woman, a divine woman, I would love to connect with you. I would love to support you in your journey, in your spiritual journey, in creating a life beyond your wildest dreams, falling in love with yourself, growing in every area. So my new program that's coming out for women, um, keep your ears open for that. If that's something you're interested in, the meditations, the breath work, the activations, the channeling, the readings, the pendulum work, it's going to be amazing. So reach out, and I will speak with all of you guys soon. Don't forget to subscribe to wherever you are, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Love you.